Hello everyone. Today in this video, I'll be explaining about TCL, nothing but transactional control language. So I know you'll be pretty much curious to know about this TCL. What is exactly mean by transaction? And you already aware of bank transactions. When I say transaction, we have a bank here or a bank account. So imagine my bank account is, uh, let's imagine this is user one's bank account, and this and this is user two's bank account. So now what happens is this is a bank account and this is another bank account. Okay. And what happened? This user one has deposited some $20,000 in users two's bank account. So the transaction has happened this way. Okay. And he has deposited some 20,000 USD into user two's account. Then what happened? The bank or the money, the money has been transferred from bank one to bank two all the way. Now, when the money has been transferred from one account to other account, then you can directly say the transaction has been successful. Now you call this as a transaction. This is what a transaction it is. But here, when it comes to MySQL, and when you are specifically looking at TCL, that is transactional control language, what do you mean by the transaction? Transaction is nothing but it's a it it is mean by running of one or more queries as a group to execute a specific task. Okay, for example, imagine imagine so here you are actually updating. Okay, when you are making a transaction, what happens? 20,000 USD will be subtracted from this particular bank account, right? And if it is deposited in user two's bank account, then what happens? 20,000 USD will be added to this particular bank account. So, when you are doing the same in MySQL, then what do you have to do? For example, you have a table that is bank account. So, bank underscore account is your table, is your table. Okay. Now you want to, in order to repeat the same transaction, then how do you write a SQL query? Okay. For example, I'm going to write in this way. Okay. So I'm going to write in this way. Uh, update, update table name, that is bank account, and you can use set here. And what is the column name? Imagine in the bank account table you have a column name called uh, uh, balance. So you can use balance equal to balance equal to balance minus 20,000. Okay. Now you have to mention some where condition. Now what does it do? You're saying basically, you're saying you want to update your table, that is bank account. Okay, fine. With what? Exactly what do you want to, where do you want to make the change in your table? You want to make the change in your table with the column that is balance. What are you going to do? You are going to subtract 20,000 USD from your column that is balance. Like imagine you have a 50,000 USD of total amount. Now when you say set balance equal to balance minus 20,000, then what happens? In your original bank account, 20,000 will get subtracted. And what is the total amount now? Final amount, that is 30,000, will be left in your bank account. Okay. Now, can you say the query or no? No, can you say the transaction is completed? No, obviously not, because the amount has debited. Okay, the amount has deducted from your account, but you are not even you haven't written any query for which the amount needs to be deposited in the user two's bank account. Okay, you have only written a query. You are actually saying that the amount has been debited, but you haven't written a query for the addition of the amount in the second user's bank account. Now I'm going to write a query. See here, update. The second user also has a table that is the bank account. Imagine. Now I'm doing set balance equal to balance. This time not minus but plus 20,000 USD. And you have to mention the where condition. What do you mention here in the where condition? Pretty much simple, right? Where the account number is equal to 0237819 blah blah blah. Okay, so you have to execute this particular query based on the account number. So you will be considering that particular user's account number as the criteria for doing a transaction. So you will mention the account number here in the where condition. Now what happens? The amount will be deducted from your account, and the same amount will be credited to the user's account, that is the user second user's account. Now what you have done here, you have uh, subtracted. Okay, here you have subtracted the amount. Now here what you have done, here you have deposited, that is here you have added the amount into some other user's account. Now, when you have subtracted and when you have added, this will be considered as a transaction. So, when it comes to the transaction, so here it is, I have just taken an example of bank account. So, whatever may be the query is, it should be a sequence of queries. So, it should be a query 1 and query 2 combined together. Query 1 and query 2 gives you a combined result of the output. You understand? So when you are executing any two sequential queries together, it may give any new output that would combine together, and we can project it as a transaction. So here now we are going to talk about the transactional control language. In the sense, we are going to talk about the commands with which we can control such type of transactions. Okay, so I'll be explaining. Okay, so now in TCL we have three keywords. The first one is commit. The second one is rollback. And the third one is Savepoint. Okay. So these are the three keywords that are exist in the TCL commands. Okay. Okay. Now I just want you to make sure to note this particular point, which is very much important. The thing is here, these commands, these commands only work with DML commands. Okay, if you want to use this commit, rollback, or save point, you have to use along with DML commands itself. There is no other way. Okay, so now I'll explain each of these commands. The first command that I want to explain is commit. First, I'll explain in terms of, I mean, in layman terms. Uh, so imagine this empty screen is your SQL workbench. Okay, I'm writing one. In the sense, this is the step one. In the step one, you have performed some query. Okay, you have performed some change. Okay, I'm writing you did some change. Okay, what is the change? The change is earlier there was a name that is earlier there was a name of the cricketer. His name is Rahul. Okay. Now you have changed this particular person, that is Rahul, to Pujara. Okay. So you have made this particular change. Okay. And also you have deleted some of the queries. I mean, sorry. And you have deleted some rows. Okay. The thing that I'm actually explaining is at the first step, you have made some change. What does that change in the sense? The change is you have modified a name and also you have deleted some rows from your table. This is the first step that you have done. Okay. All the changes that you have done to your database, it is not a physical change in the sense the change has happened, but the change has not happened inside a database permanently. It is just a change which has happened on a temporary basis. Okay. Now you are satisfied with this change. Okay. Exactly. You have done what you want. Okay. Earlier there were some mistakes in some rows. Those mistakes that you have deleted here, and you want to rename this particular person Rahul with the name Pujara. Now you are satisfied with the product. Like now you are satisfied with your data. You're okay with this thing. Your manager also has approved it. Now, what do you want to do? You want to save this physically. Then, what do? You will apply this keyword that is commit, semicolon. If you press Control Enter after this commit, then obviously all the changes that you have made here automatically be saved into your database permanently, in the sense physically. Okay. This is how you use commit. Okay. So I'll explain all the properties of this commit. This particular keyword commit, it ends the current transaction. When you say commit semicolon, it will end the current transaction. What is the current transaction that is happening here? You have done some modification, that is Rahul to Pujara, and deleted some rows. Okay. And it will end the transaction here itself, and till this particular point it will save it in your database. Okay, that is the property that this particular keyword commit has. Okay, now after this commit has been issued, the current transaction will exit. In the sense, there won't be any other current transaction. The current transaction till this point has ended and it has been saved into the database permanently. Okay, this is what a commit is. Now I will explain what is mean by a rollback. Okay, so here I'm also considering the first step. Here, what I have done, uh, I have inserted, I have inserted 98 or I have inserted 100 rows. Okay, I have inserted 100 new records inside a table. Okay, imagine this table is nothing but your class strength. Okay, imagine your class is maybe section B, section B, and I have inserted some 100 new joinees in this section B. Okay, after that, what I have done, after that, some people have left this section B. Like initially, 100 people have joined my section, that is section B. Later, after some time, out of 100, two people have withdraw their application and they have joined some other school. Now I have removed, so I have deleted two rows from my table. Okay, so I have deleted two rows from my table. Got it? Okay, perfect. Now, in the second step, I'm using rollback. Why? Why? Because instead of deleting, like imagine two people have moved to some other school, right? Those two people are nothing but here two people have moved to some other school. Those two people's name are Ben and Robin. These two people have moved to new school. So we have to delete these two people. But instead of these two students, I have deleted some other two people. Like in the sense I instead of this Ben and Robin, I have deleted Mark and Jose. Mark and Jose. So I have deleted Mark and Jose instead of Ben and Robin, which is a blunder. I should not because still these two students are active in my section. So I should not delete this. So I have to go back to a situation where I have 100 rows in my table, and from that point I have to delete these two people. These should be deleted and these should be placed it back again. So what I have to do, I have to use rollback. Then what happens? Rollback in the sense when you perform multiple actions, like you're performing action by action, and suddenly you have got a mistake, you want to go to a previous stage. Okay, you just want to go back to the previous stage, then you can use this rollback option. This rollback, what happens in a running transaction, which is not physically yet committed to the database. In the sense, you have done these modifications, like you have inserted 100 rows and you have deleted two rows, but you haven't used commit here. When you use commit, it will automatically be saved into your database permanently. But here you haven't used any commit here. So still you have an option of uh, going back to the data to its original form. Okay. So basically what am I saying is, if you want to use commit, no matter what you have done, you can still use commit to save it permanently, to save all the changes permanently. Okay. Basically I'm saying all these changes will be saved permanently. So use commit to save the changes permanently. I'm writing here save changes permanently. Okay. If you want to save changes permanently, use this option commit after your modifications. Okay. But here, this thing, when you go back to you have done a mistake. Like you accidentally deleted something or anything. Now you want to go back. So to go back, use rollback. So I'm saying if you want to go back to the normal stage, like before the deletion or before the changes has happened to the stage, you can go back, you can use this rollback and you can go back to its initial stage. That's what the rollback is. Okay. Okay. So by these two examples, you have already understood what is meant by a commit and what is meant by a rollback. Now I will provide you the third most important aspect of this thing, that is save point. So what is mean by this save point? Again, I'll be taking two more steps. That is the step number one, what you have done here. For example, you have created table. Okay. After that, you have entered the data. You have inserted the data from row 1 to row 300. Okay. From row 1 to 300, you have entered the data. Okay. So you have verified the data. And now at this point, you are pretty much confident. Your manager also has verified it. And till 1 to 300, the data is perfect. The data is correct. Okay. Now, without doing commit, you can press save point here. Okay. After running all the, after creating a table and after entering the data from 1 to 300, and finally, in the next step, you can use this keyword save point and you can give it a name like what is that? You can give it a name like 1 underscore 2 underscore 300. Okay, I have given it a name. I have given it a name and I can use this semicolon to end my query. What is the purpose of this save point? So till 1 to 300, you are pretty much confident. And now till that particular point, you want to save the data. Okay. You're not at all physically saving it. I mean, you're not at all saving it permanently, but you want to save it. You want to save it till that particular point. So for that, you can use this save point.